It's that time of year again. Updated for a new league that includes 5 time zones and shit talking from Spokane to Japan. Welcome to Across the Nations. Plenty to talk about heading into week 2, so let's get right to it. After telling Dirty Sanchez to Yoko suck it, the Yokosuka Seahawks host Call Me Coach in its home opener in one of 2 games in the league projected to be decided by 1 point. Coach, with its second road game in as many weeks, faces a daunting task against the second highest scoring team and the most favorable home field advantage in the league. Don't put it past Aaron and the gang, though. Mike Tolbert may not repeat the 3-touchdown performance that lifted him to a win against the Colonel himself, but Tom Brady, Mike Wallace, Miles Austin, Jermichael Finley all make for a potent core group. As for Yokosuka, Kenny Britt is sure to come back to earth, and the rest of the group faces a much taller task from the patsy schedule they had in Week 1. The Eagles' D could continue to score big points, but look for drop-offs across the board. The pick? Call Me Coach in a major upset. The only way this doesn't happen is if Jamal Charles and Santonio Holmes have warrants out for their arrest and aren't allowed on base. And no, Eric, I don't care if I'm pronouncing your city wrong. Meanwhile, something has to give in a matchup of the squads with the worst point differentials in the league. Sanchez and Team Little try to shake off being hit by a brick wall in Week 1. Someone will raise team morale and someone will be staring at 0-2. Talk about hot seat, especially if it's Little and the super unoriginal team name. At least the Dirties have a creative name and team logo. Injury to insult for Austin as well. After being the first team to take a kicker, Nate Kading tears his ACL on the first play of the season. Nice! The pick? It's a tough game because of the sheer lack of talent on either side, but I'll go with Aaron Rodgers to guide Team Little to a win, if he can find a kicker. Alright gang, credit where credit's due. Let's give it up for Hunter. After picking up 15 or more points from 7 of his 9 positions, he certainly has my permission to change his team name to Austin Little Hold My Dick, at least for this week. 140 points of pure domination. No offense, Anthony. I don't know you at all. Sure, you're a nice guy. But the early line says you're a 41-point underdog, and I'm still having a hard time taking you in the points. LaShawn McCoy and Sean Green probably fall below their projections, but Tony Romo doesn't lose points just for losing games. And Hunter's wide receiver core is solid, not to mention a revitalized Ravens D. The pick in this one, it's easy. John, I know the priorities in this league are to win number 1, and number 2, stop Hunter from winning, but he's looking really strong right now. I've got taters and another ass whooping. For the second straight week, 2 members of the Alliance meet up, and this one could go a long way in determining which roster will be pilfered a couple weeks down the road. Brandon was certainly the hard luck loser of Week 1, appearing to have the game in the bag before Wes Welker went nuts. This matchup opened as another 1-point line in Arnold's favor, certainly shaping up to be evenly matched. Well, I've got a couple moves up my sleeve, and my lineup will look a little different come game time. It looks as though it will be another game decided on Monday. That said, I can't pick against myself. Chris Johnson and the Falcons' deal will continue to struggle early in the year for Brandon, leaving the door wide open for myself to move to 2-0. The third ally hosts an angry leader this week. Colonel Al-Gaddafi had to eat an 82-point performance and think of what could have been after having just 3 players score in double figures. Drew escaped the tightest game of the week with a 4-point win against Brandon, thanks in large part to a 99-yard touchdown catch by Wes Welker. Now after Big Ben had the rust shaken off for him, Harper looks for a 2-0 start. This one figures to go down to the wire. By that I mean maybe the waiver wire. Drew will need to find a running back option if Steven Jackson can't go. Jonathan still has the wild card in Mike Vick and some relative unknowns on the rest of his roster, but the Convicts will need to step it up to avoid an 0-2 start for the Colonel. My pick? My gut tells me Drew, but I'm pulling for the Colonel because I don't think any of us want to find out what lengths he would go to if things get desperate in Abbottabad. The Alliance is the pick here for official prognostication purposes. So, Picks are in, and I'm taking 4 teams to remain undefeated, perhaps starting a bit of separation at the top. Good luck to all, and of course, your rebuttals are gladly accepted.